I was being told that it's not how I thought, that drug addiction starts from what I see, like the guys that I see. It starts when you're somewhere in life and then it drags you down. So ideally, it's not how we think it goes. You see, we have this perception that drug addiction happens to others, but it can't happen to me.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that it actually starts when you're here and then it pulls you to where you see the others as like, okay, I'm sad. And so today we're going to talk about that. Drug use, substance use. And we have a guest mwenye atatuambia anaitwa nani. Yes, so sit tight and enjoy.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. This is an amazing podcast. I'm a big fan of what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you're going to have this amazing conversation about drug abuse, mental health, fun stuff, you know.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm Naomi Owino. I'm a psychologist and a mental health advocate. I specialize in matters, substance use disorders, and helping people recover from dependence and addiction. Yeah.
You know, like I was sat like this and then I'm wondering, how exactly does addiction happen? Like, najikuta aje nimekuwa addict? Like, how?
That's an amazing point. But maybe for our viewers, for them to be able to understand what you're talking about, addiction in simpler terms is a condition where someone is physically or psychologically addicted or dependent on something to a degree where it causes a lot of harm to their lives, but they can't stop even if they want to. They can't easily stop. They need a lot of assistance for them to stop. So when you're dependent psychologically and physically to a substance. Yeah, so this is what we'll be talking about today.
Okay. So essentially, see, just because I keep reaching for something, that means I'm an addict.
If you keep reaching for something because you're dependent on it physically, let's say you get headaches before using something. Yeah, you need to use it for the headaches to stop. That can be a sign that you're addicted to that particular substance. If psychologically you get affected, you have a lot of mood swings, you are easily irritated until you use that particular thing, then you're like, now I'm okay, I feel nice.
You're totally addicted.
Yeah, it can be a sign, an indicator that you're addicted to something.
Oh, so there's various signs.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Yeah.
There are various signs to show that someone is addicted. The first one, we've just spoken about it, the dependence aspect. The second one, the fact that they are aware that this is causing harm in my life, but they don't know how to stop. Or they try to stop, but it's impossible. They need help to stop. You see, for example, when you're eating food and you feel that you're full, you're like, I want to stop. So you stop easily, naturally. But for addiction, it's not that way.
You can't stop.
No.
You just keep continuing, even though it's harming you.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. How exactly? Okay. I know there has to be struggles. There has to be struggles for me to get to the point where I'm addicted to something. I've heard that saingine ina happen because you keep doing something, you know, it happens harmlessly, like you did it for entertainment or something. But kwa ground, is it more about, what is this balance? Is it more about mtu akiwa na the people who get into it from leisure and the people who get into it from struggle? Like how, like
the relationship between usage and someone getting addicted?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Mostly it depends with your reason for using. Because there are people who use drugs. Let's say someone's smoking weed because their friends at that particular time are smoking weed. But when they're not with their friends, they don't smoke weed. Of course, for that person, it's going to be more difficult for him or her to get addicted unless they spend a lot of time with those friends. Because the frequency of usage also matters. Yeah. But there are other people who use the particular drug because they're trying to cope up with a loss in their life.
Sad.
Yeah. Or maybe they are trying to feel better about their lives. Yeah. So they don't want to be in the current reality. They're trying to escape from it. So that's the worst.
The worst.
Yeah.
You're using something outside of you to get out of the whatever is going inside your head.
Yeah.
Or inside your life. I think tunaweza kuwa, like, a lot of people can be susceptible to that one.
Yeah.
Because of course struggles, like, they never end, they're never ending. So in relation to these struggles, like, is it like any struggle can put me there, or is it like there is a certain type of person who is more susceptible to being dependent than another person? Ama haichagui?
Haichagui. This can happen to anyone and everyone. It just depends with the amount of knowledge that somebody has. Awareness plays a big role, because if you're aware, then you get to understand that by using drugs, I don't get to solve the problems that I have, but rather create more of them. So that level of awareness, or understanding that there are a lot of effects that come from using drugs. So when you have that awareness, you realize that I'm just digging a grave for myself. So I'm not going to do this. I'm going to look for better ways to solve my current problems. So really, the only people who are exempted from this are those who are knowledgeable. Yeah.
So knowledge is power.
Yes.
Power to avoid getting there.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say I have begun using something.
Okay.
Let's say, not like I'm using something.
Just saying.
Can I say, I'm starting to get addicted to this? Like, can I actually tell, like, myself, can I judge myself and be like, I am getting addicted to this?
Yes, it's possible to look at the patterns and realize that I've started getting addicted to this particular substance. For example, you used to be a very quiet person, but when you use drugs, all of a sudden you're more loud and you like that side of you. So every time you're hanging out with friends, you want to use the drugs. You realize, so you reach out towards the drugs a lot of times because you're trying to awaken this other side of you. Yeah. So there's that. Another sign that can also be easy is the physical dependence. For example, with alcoholism, it's very easy to point it out because some people tremble. I don't know, maybe
that's common.
Yeah,
that's common. Like, hadi mtu hawezi shikilia kalamu
mpaka akunywe the alcohol.
Shot moja.
Yeah, and then now wako sawa. So physically, you've literally been affected. You are dependent on it. Yeah. Again, the mood swings. Unatembea kidogo umekanyaga mtu, by mistake, ashalipuka, and the reaction is so bigger than what the cause is, and you're like, oh my God, what is this? The whole time, it's somebody who is using drugs, but they haven't got it. Yeah. So too little to sign. So when you sit and you look at the you before drugs and the you after, if there's a change, most of the times it means that you're dependent on it, and dependence leads to addiction.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So hasira mingi mtu anaweza kuwa anatumia. Okay.
No.
I didn't know that. I literally did not know that.
It can be. But not,
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've mentioned the difficulty issue. Your life is difficult around you, or your friends are influencing you, or you realize there is something that it brings out in you that is kind of different. What other things can lead you there? Because this one I'm learning today, that it can change your personality to be, more vibrant.
Yeah.
Are there like other pathways zenye zinafikisha huko zenye sijui zenye sija mention?
Oh, like some causes of people using.
Yeah,
if you put it like that. Of course, the aspect of peer pressure can play a role.
Yeah.
Because a lot of young people want to fit in. Yeah. Most of the times they want to identify with what is cool at the moment. Yeah. And if using drugs is what is cool at the moment, which unfortunately there have been many times where using drugs is deemed to be cool, then they'll be using drugs because they want to fit in. See, I'm also cool, like so and so. Yeah. All the amazing rappers in their videos do this, so now I'm also doing it.
This whole culture, the video culture, the music culture has a really serious impact. Because of the way they keep mentioning drugs, the way they're always using drugs and the music video. Moshi tu kila mali hadi waoni. Like
expensive bottles of liquor.
Definitely. Until imekuwa kwanza ukiangalia like the party culture is heavily influenced by music. So okay, there is no party without drugs.
Exactly, because again, from most of some people that I've interacted with, they say that when they've used drugs, then they feel more free. They're not stressing about what is not going on well in their lives. So they are literally in the moment. They're feeling the music, they're dancing, that they are with the people. But again, I feel like this is just a misconception, or they've just made themselves to believe that they can't enjoy the current moment or music or parties without being under the influence of drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So when you talk about history, drugs can get you here and then they bring you here.
Yeah.
So say I am like I'm here, like I am a high achieving person. I am very ambitious, all that. How exactly, or what things around me, do I have something like, are there special circumstances around this that, predispose someone to get like the like hapo?
Cool. Okay, so let's use the example of a very high achieving doctor in one of the prestigious hospitals. Yeah, so they start using drugs, maybe because they feel a lot of pressure at their workplace, so they start using drugs to cope with the pressure, the high expectations, everybody's looking at them. They'll do that, and after a particular period of time, that will have an effect on them because their performance will go lower. Once it goes lower, most of the times this also is going to impact their salary. So once it impacts your salary, let's say you are earning a lot of money, but it's 2 months down the line, you only show up at work maybe 3 times a week, yet you're supposed to show up 7 times. Because again, when you are very high, sometimes you pass out, so you're supposed to report to work at this particular time. That's not going to happen, and then the colleagues are going to notice that. Maybe the management notices that. So slowly by slowly, the quality of your life and even the quality of your work will deteriorate. And once that happens, it also affects your earning. That's one of the ways that it can happen. The other way, using the same profession. So this is someone who earns a lot of money, but they end up using all that money to buy drugs and use drugs, and maybe they use these drugs with their friends, so they need to also buy drugs for their friends, and drugs are very expensive. So of course this is going to affect again their quality of life. Itafika wakati, or rather itafika mahali, now they need to get on apps for loans. Maybe they need to sell some of their property in order to sustain their addiction. Because when you talk about addiction, this is something that you do it all day, every day. Hakuna breaks. So it's a lot of money being used.
It's not hatutaki kuingia sana into that, but then this whole thing about doctors being very susceptible to drug addiction is a thing. It's a real thing. It's a real issue. I don't know. I am one. So when you talk about that, it makes me think, if others could get into it, how can I prevent myself? I know the best way to prevent is not to do it. Prevention is better than cure. But it really touches a spot, because if it's that common,
maybe literally the fact that you're speaking about it, you're aware, and that's amazing. Getting to understand when you're feeling that you're under a lot of stress because of work, catching yourself in that moment and trying to look for support in the right of ways from the right places.
Okay. I'm gonna be very mindful so that I never catch myself in that situation. I also think something to do with access of drugs is also a thing. I think. But as I've said, you're not gonna talk about that here today.
Okay.
Yes, about doctors and drug addiction is not for this conversation today.
Or rather, healthcare providers.
Healthcare providers. Correct. Aya. Seme. I have started noticing these patterns. I'm reaching out for it all the time, and najikuta nimeanza ku reach out for it, and now I'm aware I am doing this. What should I do?
Amazing point. So you found yourself in the middle of the journey towards addiction, or rather the patterns are indicative of the fact that you might be addicted to a particular substance. The first thing that you're supposed to do is seek help from a professional.
Which one?
They are mental health specialists, because there's a very big relationship between addiction and mental health. In the DSM-5 criteria, addiction is actually classified as opioid use disorders or substance use disorders. So this is literally identified as an illness, a mental illness. Yeah. So there are specialists who literally can help you to unlearn the patterns that caused you to start using drugs until you got addicted, because you have to deal with the situation from the roots. Also, it depends on the particular type of drug that you're addicted to. But for example, if it's heroin, there are methadone clinics where you get treatment, both medically and psychologically, and it helps you in the recovery. Yeah.
Talking about mental health, what is this relationship between mental health and drugs?
Okay, so the relationship between mental health and drug use actually goes both ways, because some people use drugs because of poor mental health. For example, someone is feeling depressed, so they're looking for a source of happiness from drugs like the stimulants. And some cases, someone gets mental illnesses or their mental health is affected after using drugs, like someone getting to experience schizophrenia, you know, because they've smoked a lot of weed. Yeah. So either way, mental health plays a big role. You can either get mental illnesses from using drugs, or you can use drugs because of some of the mental illnesses that you're experiencing.
Okay. This is like very eye-opening. Very eye-opening. Why are you guys smiling, all of you?
We are opening our eyes. No, you're speaking like we had closed them. So now it's like, oh, eye-opening.
Honestly, there is a lot. You see, sometimes you think you know, but then you don't really know. You think you have an idea, and then someone tells you, and you're like, okay, I'm sad. Okay, now let's go to this. I have identified I have a problem.
Okay.
I want to start change. Of course, you've dealt with a lot of clients. I think this is you. Have you dealt with clients when you wameacha na wakaacha?
They're totally clean.
Possible?
So addicts recovering and staying clean forever.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't lived forever yet.
Yes.
So it's going to be difficult to answer that. No. But seriously, I've had some success stories of clients that I've gotten the privilege to work with that until now they are clean, but they are very few, unfortunately. Yeah.
From the ones who have gone through with it and stuck to being clean.
Yeah.
From the psychological view of them, what is it that distinguishes them? What makes them
stand out?
Yes.
Family support. I would love to attribute their success to the support that they get from family members, because most of the times in recovery, stigma plays a big role to the relapse cases that we experience as healthcare providers, or rather as
healthcare.
So, I would like to attribute it to family support, because in most cases, the clients that have managed to continue staying clean in their recovery process have gotten to witness that they get a lot of support from their family members. For example, their mothers, their fathers continuing to check up on them, believing that it is possible. So giving them a pat on the back. We are here for you. We are clapping for you. We believe in you. You know, so it's almost like they look behind and there's a whole team cheering them on, and they get the urge to continue fighting.
So that really makes sense, because in very many families, the moment you're wamekupin, you are a user, you don't really get support.
Yeah.
You don't get it. In fact,
The
stigma is serious. Even that relative who is known for using anything, even alcohol, kuna venye anaangaliwa, kuna venye anakuwa treated.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah, unfortunately. And there's this quote which is very diminishing that says once an addict, always an addict. And it's not true, and it's unfair, because people end up in these situations for very many reasons, but the fact that somebody is trying to turn their lives around for the better, this is already an enough reason for us to support them, or rather for us to just not look down on them and discourage them towards their path of recovery.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with judgment. You look at someone and you never think that it could be you. So you never hold the space for them. Like, they could do better. They could actually change for the better. And family dynamics even make it a bit, but
yeah. And the fact that sometimes, unfortunately, we look at the drug addicts on the streets and we judge them based on what we currently see. But we don't know their whole story. We don't know their lives 10 years before, 20 years before.
Yeah,
you know?
how are they?
Exactly. But maybe if you get a chance to sit down with them and speak with them, then you're able to understand things from their point of view and offer them more grace.
Yeah, we really should offer each other more grace.
Yeah.
Even if sometimes it's difficult.
True.
Sometimes it's really difficult.
Yeah, offering someone grace is not the easiest thing.
It's not the easiest thing.
Because it's literally also very close to forgiveness.
Yes.
You know, remembering all the things they did while they were an addict.
Yeah, and it comes with a lot. Comes with a lot. Especially, the way the demanding nature of drugs. The cases that, the stories I've had, the tensions it brings in the family, because it can lead to the point of you are taking the resources from the house to go and feed your habits.
Yeah.
Like, that's serious. Anyways, aside from that, what are the steps to recover? What are the steps to recovery?
The steps to recovery?
Yes.
Okay, so it literally depends on the particular drug that you're addicted to. Yeah, that plays a role, because an addict recovering from alcoholism and an addict recovering from an opioid use disorder, for example, heroin, the steps that they will take are very different. But number one, you really need to be aware and accept that, oh my God, I have a problem. I am an addict, because living in denial prevents so many people from seeking help. They're like, no, I'm okay. I'm not an addict. Actually, I can stop anytime I want. Mimi hata naweza amka kesho na niseme nimeacha. And also, everybody uses the drugs. Kila mtu anatumia. So looking for all these reasons to justify your usage, that already is not going to help you towards recovery. So identifying that I really do have a problem, and then opening up to someone that you trust. Because once you share it, it's like, oh, now it's real. Sometimes you're like, oh, maybe it's just my brain convincing me that I have a problem. But once you share it and people confirm it with facts, of course, that you might be an addict because of this and this and this, and we've experienced this around you, and then now seeking professional help. And therapy is a very good step to follow when you're trying to recover from any type of addiction, because there are always root causes. Someone doesn't just wake up one day and decides to be an addict. There are reasons why you first reach out to that drug. There are reasons why you continue, and there are reasons why you get stuck there. So you need to be able to understand all these things, unpack them, and solve them. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
That's a lot to unpack. It makes me feel so sympathetic about people who are struggling like that, because that can't be easy. Being in a position where you totally, like, my control is outside of me. That is a tricky position to be in. That's like really sad. Aside from family, how can I support someone who is, or what is required of this person? What support system should they have if they want to get out of this?
Okay. Avoiding your triggers can be very important, and then avoiding them. So you need to understand your triggers and then avoiding them. For example, identifying that you always use alcohol when you are in a party setup. When people are partying, you'll end up using alcohol, yet you're trying to reduce your intake and hopefully one day stop using alcohol. Then saying no to parties would be a good point to start.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know that 100% guaranteed when I'm at a party, I'm going to use this particular drug. Then you just avoid the parties.
You literally have answered whatever I wanted to ask you. So the first step of stopping or first step of recovery is avoiding your triggers.
Yeah. After you've acknowledged that you have a problem, you've shared it, and now you are on the path of recovery. Yeah, and you've identified some of the triggers. It's wiser to avoid them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So on a day-to-day basis, let's say I have decided that I want to stop this. And I have realized I have a problem. I have started the right path towards stopping this. Let's say I have seen a mental health specialist. Is there like something I can shift in my day-to-day that can actually help me stay with my decision, like things around me that I can shift?
True. There are things around you that you can shift. Let's use alcoholism because it's the most commonly used drug, and I'm sure most of our viewers know and identify with this. Yeah. So changing your environment will be very, very nice. Let's say you're somebody who is always talking liquor bottles in your home. So of course you'll need to get rid of them. You know, again, maybe your friends are people who are always using drugs. Unfortunately, for some period of time, you'll have to avoid those friends. Yeah, until you are strong enough to be able to be in situations that trigger you, and you'll still strongly say no to the influence.
Okay, that's good. That's good. From, say, the guys that you've interacted with, now they've gone through total recovery. What is their life like after recovery compared to before?
Oh, wow, that's a beautiful question, because their lives literally change 100% for the better. And for example, let's start with identity. These are people that for many years were identified as addicts, you know, ama mateja, as how we normally call them. But when they change their lives for the better, and for example, they get sources of employment, the narrative changes to them being providers. The narrative changes to them being responsible members of the society. You know, so that already, feeling that you're contributing to the better good of something, makes you move around the world with so much pride and happiness. And that's amazing. Their health, of course, improves drastically. Yeah, because most of the times the drugs will make you undereat. Your only focus at that time is using drugs. You don't even get time to take care of your body. So most of the times their physical health improves. Yeah, mentally they become more stable. They become people who are happier. Yeah, the people who can literally now sustain the relationships in their lives. If they had children, they can rebuild those relationships, show up at parent visits in school, parent day meetings in schools. Or if they have friends, they can spend more time with them, you know, spend more time at home. So they become, for lack of a better word, better human beings. Yeah, and that is always refreshing to say.
So essentially, I can stop and my life can revert back to being totally all right. Like, now I'm a functioning human being and things are going well.
Yes, it's really possible. It's difficult. We have to put this out there. It's very, very difficult, but it's possible and it's amazing. And once it happens, it's just beautiful.
Okay. So, take away from this, what's awareness? Creating awareness. We are creating awareness. So what things should I know, or should people know in this path of dealing with substance use, preventing people from sliding into it, from your expertise? What can you say about that?
Okay, I'll go back to what I said. Knowledge is power. So people really need to be informed so that they make better decisions. Sometimes most young people specifically end up using drugs and getting addicted to them because they didn't understand what they were getting themselves into. So understanding the effects psychologically, physically, socially of using those drugs helps, because now somebody will be making informed decisions, and also being able to understand that using drugs is an act that can literally change your life for the worst forever. So it's not just a small thing, it's a very big thing. Just knowing that will make you be very careful towards the things that you put in your body. Yeah. And also there are so many myths around. For example, what we've talked about, some people thinking that everybody uses drugs. No, that's not true. Not everybody uses drugs. Because when you put it that way, you are simplifying it. You're making it so usual. It's like drinking water, which it isn't. And also the whole aspect of I can stop anytime I want. That's not true. Most of the time people just tell themselves that to sleep better at night. But stopping using drugs once you become dependent on them is so difficult. Yeah. So having information that is truthful and making informed decisions is a really, really good step to start from.
Amazing. Yeah. I have one very itchy question. Using a drug, I have used it. Does it already predispose me to becoming one?
To becoming an addict?
Yes.
For some people, yes, because addiction can be genetic. Yeah. Some people are predisposed by their genetics to be easily addicted to particular drugs. Yeah. And most of the time people don't know if they are or they are not. So that's already a tricky scenario. Yeah. But for the ones who are not genetically predisposed, there's a process that happens before they get addicted. Actually, there are some stages before someone gets addicted. The first one is the euphoria stage. Yeah, I'll quickly explain this. Let's use the example of alcohol. Let's say you've never used alcohol before. So one day you take one shot and you're feeling so nice, you're happy, you're experiencing euphoria. Let's say now you can have the confidence to walk up to somebody and start a conversation with them without even being so insecure about how do I look, how will I sound. You're just free because you're under the influence. And then when you continue taking that one shot because you want to experience what you experienced the first time, it will reach a point where you will need more than one shot to experience that same level. So maybe now it's 2 shots or 3 shots to feel that high. Now you are in the tolerance stage. And then after some time, you continue. Now it's fun. It's no longer 3 shots. It's a whole bottle. It's 2 bottles. Yes. And then you reach the dependent stage. Now the physical symptoms exist, the shaking, the psychological symptoms exist, the anger outbursts, the easily being irritable and all that. And then after a period of time, you continue, and now you're an addict. You are stealing things from home to sell them so that you sustain this addiction, to sustain this habit. Exactly. Yeah, you know that this is a problem. You try to stop, but after a few minutes, you are at the bar. Because you are literally shaking. The physical symptoms again. It's hell. It's now reached a point where you can't do without that particular drug. Yeah.
This is so sad. Can I only be addicted to drugs, or there are other addictions?
Actually, there are other addictions. Yeah, there are other, like food. There are people who are addicted to food because, let's say, you are sad or you feel depressed, and the only source of happiness that you get it from food. And most of the times they get it from the unhealthy foods. Let's say a lot of crepes, a lot of junk food, because that is what is mostly considered to be sweet for most of us. Utakuwa uko depressed, but you don't want to eat ugali and sukuma wiki. You're like, oh my God, no. But when you get a large pizza, you're happy. So when you're eating that pizza, you are very happy. So every time you are sad, which is a lot of times, you eat pizzas, and before you realize it, you've taken down 10 boxes. And of course, you know that this is going to bring about a lot of health conditions. Another thing that most people are addicted to is sex. Again, we understand that in the amazing sexual act, people get to experience the feeling of euphoria once they've reached the climax. So they continue chasing that, because anytime you're not doing sex, why am I quoting? I'm a big person. I can say sex, right? I just feel so guilty.
The topic around sex, there's something to do with that.
I know.
There's something.
I feel so exposed when I mention it.
It's a safe space.
Thank you. Sex. So again, when they're not having sex, they're sad, you know. They're not just sad. Maybe there are things that are not going on well in their life, in their lives, that are causing this sadness. So instead of unpacking that and dealing with that, they choose the quickest fix. I don't want to feel sad right now. I want to feel happy. I want to be okay. And I had sex last time and I felt okay, so I'll continue having it. And before you realize it, you're making very responsible sexual decisions. And again, other negative effects will come from that.
It's a thing. So from this whole discussion, Can't Think podcast, I want to get someone who has recovered, ama ako in the process of recovery, atuambie, let them tell us, if you're open to share about it, to say something in the comments about addictions, drugs, substances. Okay, we are Can't Think podcast, and this has been a very amazing episode. We are very happy to have you, Naomi.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So see you.
Bye.
Wow, this has been so nice. Oh my God, I'm gonna educate.
Oh, please. I'm sure the next time we speak about pharmaceuticals, I'll be here like, for real. Like Kevin mentioned, there's a drug that inafanya mtu alale the whole day. I want to know it.
Afadhali nimeacha kukuambia.
It has gone about so fast.
I know, right? I looked at the watch, I'm like, 35 minutes.